What is going on, everybody? My name is PeteSnacks, and I'm back with another video to go over the list of my favorite free plugins that I use all the time in my mixes and in my productions. Now, I'm going to put the links to all of these in the description, so head on down there if you want to check them out. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. Alright, let's jump right into it. I know I'm still in Ableton Live 9, but that will be changing shortly once I finally upgrade. Alright, the first one on the list is also the only synthesizer on the list. It is the OBXD. Now this is a emulation of the Oberheim OBX synthesizer, which is a pretty sought after vintage synth. And I don't use this too much, but when I do use it, I pretty much only use it for this sound. You know, that brassy, resonant pad sort of sound. It's really easy to dial in that sound. It's really easy to dial in whatever sound you want. All the controls are really straightforward here. And I definitely recommend checking that out. I use this a lot in conjunction with the next plugin on the list, which is the Tao Chorus LX. Now, Tao Togu audio line has a whole host of really great free plugins. And when I first started producing music, I used a lot of them. They've got some cool synths and several cool reverbs, which you should definitely, if you're looking for free plugins, check out all of the Togu audio line plugins. This is the only one of theirs that I still use, but this is a chorus emulation of the chorus found on the Juno, the Roland Juno synths, like the 60 and the 106. It's just got a really lush, vintagey, thick sound, and in conjunction with the OBXD sounds pretty good. So it just really widens everything out, makes it really thick and lush. This is the chorus that I use the most after the Ableton stock chorus. Next up on the list is the Ozone Imager. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this plugin because it is great. I'm a big fan of Isotope, and I use Ozone for all my mastering. This is a single band of their multi-band imager module in Ozone. And what this does is it lets you control the stereo width of a source. So with this slider here, you can make something all the way mono or all the way stereo, or anything in between. And with the stereoize feature, you can make a mono source stereo kind of through the Haas effect. If you don't know what that is, check that out, look into that. This also has this vector scope here, which is really cool because it lets you see what your sound looks like in the stereo field. And finally, it has this phase meter, which lets you know kind of if you're going to have any phasing issues. As long as you're over 0, you're going to be all good. And the vector scope is pretty cool. I just think that looks pretty cool. Next up on the list, this is another plugin that I use all the time. This is the Melda WAV folder. Now, Melda also has a whole host of free plugins that if you're looking for free plugins, you definitely need to download their free bundle. They've got a bunch of creative effects as well as EQs and compressors, and they're really good. This is the main one that I use. I also use the Wave Shaper. But this is a distortion unit, and it's modeled after analog distortion, and it sounds pretty good. I mainly use this really subtly, like just cranking up the drive a little bit, and then really just messing with the stuff until it sounds good. I also think this is cool because it has a limiter on the end, so you can kind of get some clipping, and I'll use this a lot, pretty subtly on like a drum bus, to just beef everything up and warm it up a little bit. It sounds like this. You can get some subtle saturation, or you can get crazy gnarly. That's the Melda WAV folder. Next up on the list is the Valhalla Freak Echo. Now, I use the Valhalla Room Reverb. That's my main reverb. And this is like a wonky pitch delay thing. What this does is it acts like a delay, but every delay line it pitches depending on how you have this shift set. So at 0, you just kind of get a weird, let's turn that wave folder off. You kind of get a weird delay sound, but if you start playing with this shift, you get some really spacey, wonky pitching delay stuff, and it's really cool. This is for free, but I would pay for this if I had to. I love that plugin. Next up on the list, let's turn that off, is the Clang Helm DC1A2. Clang Helm is another company that has several free plugins, and they're all really, really good. They also have some paid plugins that are really cheap, like $20, that I have heard sound really good. I haven't used any of them, but this is a slimmed down version of one of their compressors that you can buy. It's really simple to use. It's just got 2 knobs, as you can see, the input and the output. It definitely has a unique sound, and if you push this a lot, it gets some cool distortion. And this, for just having 2 knobs, it has a surprisingly wide range of sound. It can be either really subtle or really extreme. I kind of find that this is very dependent on what you're putting into it. So usually I'll just chuck this on, and then if I'll mess around with it, and if it sounds good, I'll use it. If it doesn't sound good, I'll try something else. That's the Clang Helm DC1A2. So that rounds out the main list, but there are a couple of honorable mentions. Now, the first honorable mention is actually a plugin that I use a lot. This is the Slate Digital Revival plugin. This is part of their VMR, the Virtual Mix Rack, which is a whole suite of plugins that you have to pay per month for. But this module is free. But I use this a lot, but the reason that it's an honorable mention is because you have to have an iLock to run it. And to download it, you have to download the entire Virtual Mix Rack. So all the plugins that you haven't paid for, you have to then delete. So it's kind of a convoluted process, but this thickness knob does amazing things just in like some, it says thickness and that's what it does. It does some like low end saturation, and the shimmer really brightens stuff up in a really pleasing way. This sounds really, really cool on vocals. And last but not least, no list of free plugins is complete without the Camel Crusher from Camel Audio. Now, unfortunately, Camel Audio, I don't think they exist anymore. But this plugin is floating around online still, and it's a really cool distortion unit. The reason it's only an honorable mention is because it's really old and it has a very distinct sound, but if sometimes it's the sound you need. So a lot of people use it, and you can definitely tell when stuff has Camel Crusher on it, but sometimes that's just what it needs. This British Clean preset is a really great place to start, and it's got a distortion, a filter, a compressor, and then a mix knob. All right, so that rounds out my list of free plugins. These are ones that I use quite frequently and are completely free for you to download. The links to them are in the description. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button, follow along. There's going to be a lot more videos coming, so stay tuned for that, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.